Vertical height is important no matter what sport you play. With Vertical FX, we're going to focus on jump technique and how to build power through our hips utilizing the Reactive Stretch Cord. Oftentimes as athletes, we're going to be needing to be explosive off one foot. So the single leg tuck jump is going to help us focus on power, building from the floor up, all on one leg. We're also going to be overloading that stretch reflex, getting us more muscle activation with the Reactive Stretch Cord. We're going to provide resistance straight down so that every single jump, we have to push through the resistance and become more explosive, building power in our hips, as well as our calf, and down through our body, all the way up into a higher jump. The single leg vertical tuck jump is going to be ran the same way as the double leg. We're going to be needing our anchors to be just behind the jumpers, working in their hand on their back to be sure that they're keeping themselves safe, keeping some space between them and the athlete. Also, you're going to keep the weight on your front foot so that each individual jump doesn't pull you off your center, and you can really maintain that same level of resistance throughout the entire workout. Athletes, you need to find a rhythm, a center of balance, and explosiveness within your body with only using that one leg. The key here is to get off the ground as fast as you can. Hesitating at the bottom will not increase our verticals. We have to be explosive, and as soon as we touch the ground, we've got to get right back off, even though it's one leg. Remember, this is an advanced move. If you're not quite advanced enough, explosive enough to stay on that one foot getting right back off the ground, then go ahead and use two legs and complete the reps and sets with your two legs. That way that we really maintain that quickness off the ground. Reps and sets need to be structured with the proper rest periods to make sure that we maximize our results. Do no more than 4 to 6 resisted sets with only 6 jumps. These 6 jumps need to maintain that explosiveness we've talked about, and then go ahead and take about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes in between. If you're a little bit more advanced and you can maintain that quickness off the ground with max vertical height through the resistance, then you can push the jumps to 8 to 10, but I would suggest going no more than 10 reps so that we can maintain max height each individual jump. The sets will vary as well. If you're a beginner, stick to 2 to 3 sets until we gain a little bit more of that explosive endurance. If you're a little bit more advanced, stretch the sets from 6 to 8 and really increase your vertical today. This is going to be a great drill to help with our explosiveness through the hips and really work that stretch reflex off the ground. Basic drill setup, but there's a lot to it. All we're going to be needing is a reactive stretch cord as well as a heavy anchor. Athletes, go ahead and strap the reactive stretch cord belt nice and tight. We don't want any extra movement as we provide that resistance downward to help build hip strength and explosiveness up. Remember, anytime we provide resistance with the reactive stretch cord, it's important that we do a little give and take. We talk with the anchor and we really get it figured out how much resistance we need to maximize our results. Too much resistance in this specific drill is only going to take away from the stretch reflex effect. We got to maintain that explosiveness, and as soon as we hit the ground, we're right back off. The resistance provided will help build power through our hips jumping through the resistance, as well as overload your muscles on the way down from the resistance added. Keep the set simple. Remember, you're providing resistance up as well as pulling the athlete down. So you're going to overload that body a lot faster than you would be doing with freestanding tuck jumps. Keep the reps and sets very simple based on athleticism. For younger athletes, 4 to 6 reps will be great. For more advanced athletes, 8 to 10 jumps will be great. Work to maintain your explosiveness, jumping as high as you can, utilizing powerful arms to load the hips and explode up each individual rep. Complete no more than 3 to 4 sets of this at a time. Remember, jump training has to be explosive, and continuing to overload the muscle is only going to hurt us in the long run. The last tip for this drill is for anchors. Anchors, be sure that you have all your weight on that front foot, that you're heavy on the band so that it doesn't pull out from under you. Also, slide your hand close to the athlete's back to make sure that he doesn't come back and land on your leg. It's very important to stay safe and maximize our results here with this drill. We're going to be using the reactive stretch cord as well as some speed and agility cones to help with our spacing. It's important that we challenge ourselves with each individual jump So go ahead and do a couple jumps to begin to really push that distance a little bit. It's important that we don't use more than 6 cones here. I would suggest 4 until you become a little bit more advanced, because after you get after 3 jumps, it's really easy to get off your center of gravity and defeat the whole purpose of power jumping. The first portion of this sequence, we're going to be using resisted jumps. Remember, you've got that 360 D-ring, so go ahead and slide that into the back, clip the reactive stretch cord on, and work through that resistance through each individual jump. Be sure, anchors, that you're moving along with your jumper. It's important that we provide the right amount of resistance. Completely overloading that jumper to where they can't move naturally through their hips is only going to hurt their performance. So be sure that you're providing equal resistance as they jump down the court, walking with them. Jumpers, be powerful, be explosive, and load your hips with your arms. Each individual jump, we've got to be working to get our body forward, getting through the resistance, staying on the balls of our feet, and being explosive outward as much as we can. Rest for about 1.5 minutes. This is a great time frame for you to be able to get your legs back and maintain that high level of intensity. Depending on your level of athleticism, you're going to be doing 4 to 6 jump sequences before moving on to the assisted jumps. Assisted jumps are going to be completely different. Anchors, you're going to work away and make sure that you've got that cord already stretched before they begin. Now, we've also got to be very active with our legs and even keep that other arm up, ready to pull the slack out, so we always keep the athlete safe. Be sure that you're walking away, maintaining the equal amount of resistance through each individual jump. Athletes focus on chest position as well as the balls of your feet through each of these jumps. It is key during assisted broad jumps for athletes to maintain their center. When you're getting pulled, it's very easy to really go through those explosive phases. Easily throw your arms, easily drive through your legs. But we have to make sure that we don't get off balance. With that pull coming from your midsection, if you can control it, you're going to really see some great gains in your vertical and your explosiveness. You can't provide too much resistance for your athlete or you're going to pull them right off their center. But athletes, you've got to focus and maintain that proper jump form, getting as much resistance as you can handle. Again, you're going to be moving through the assisted jumps for a 4 to 6 sets before finishing up this drill. To jump higher, you have to be explosive, and the reactive stretch cord is a great tool to help improve your vertical. We're going to be focusing on the single leg lateral bounding drill. We're going to need our speed and agility cones as well as our reactive stretch cord to provide a little bit of that off balance training throughout our jumps. Space 6 to 8 cones in an equal distance down the court so that we can maintain the same explosiveness from the left and the right leg. This is going to allow us to add resistance at an angle so that each individual catch on the bound, we must stabilize and then explode. Stabilize and explode. There's going to be 2 parts to this drill to help maximize our results. The first is going to be really getting centered in our bodies and working with a catch at each individual cone. We're going to explode, land on our leg, catch, find our center, and then explode to the other side. Again, we're going to be using the reactive stretch cord, which is going to be also working against us, pulling us off our center, so we've really got to maintain our focus and get in the center before we explode again. When you set up the cones, it's important that we actually do a couple jumps first. We want the cones farther out than we can jump just to be safe and make sure that we're not going to land on any of those cones. Keep in mind, we've got assisted jumps as well as resisted jumps, so we need to make sure that they're spaced accordingly. You're going to complete 2 catch sets with an anchor on the right side of the cone line as well as the left side of the cone line to give us that equal resistance catch feel. Now that we've worked on stability and power, now we're going to bring the speed element into it. Anchors, you're still going to walk parallel to the jumper, but it's important that we pick up our pace a little bit. Each jump is going to be explosive, moving from cone to cone to cone, working with that stretch reflex, getting off the ground as fast as we can on each side. We're going to do an additional 2 sets from both the left anchor and the right anchor to make sure that we equal out everything. To maximize your results with this drill, it's very important that you focus on form and being explosive. Simply hopping from side to side will get you no results, but really focusing to be stable and explode at each individual edge is going to help you be more explosive and more powerful with your jumps. Let's get started with the reaction shuffle setup. We're going to be using 3 cones spaced out evenly from one another. Next, we're going to be maximizing our results with the reactive stretch cord, giving us both assistance and resistance through each individual shuffle. As we get things set up, let's focus on anchors for just a second. Remember, the reactive stretch cord stretches 20 feet, so we want to make sure that that farthest cone is no more than 20 feet unless we have very active anchors. We also have to be very vocal for our athletes. We're going to be using a 1, 2, 3 count. Number off the cones and be very strong with your voice and command so that we can move and react with a voice cadence. Anchors, be sure that we're utilizing that safety strap. There's no reason that we need to be holding that carabiner and leaving our athletes at risk. Go ahead and simply put it around your wrist and make sure that we're good to go. Now on to the good stuff. Time to maximize some results. Athletes, it's important that we really sit in our seats and get in a low position so that we can be explosive from left to right. Remember, throughout the entire active set, you're going to be getting resistance as well as assistance, throwing off your center of balance and really maximizing the amount of control that you have moving explosively. Maintaining a center of balance and having a great, strong center is one of the most important things that you can have in any athletic sport. This is a great way for us to build a solid center of gravity in a sport-specific fashion. The next key is that we really have to be active and listening for that 1, 2, 3 cadence. Being explosive with reaction is going to be great for us in any sport. As always with shuffles, it's very important that we maintain a nice, sturdy, athletic stance. If you're letting your heels click or you're bringing your legs all the way together, this is only going to slow us down and potentially leave us at risk to get passed by an offensive player. The set breakdown is going to be very simple. 2 to 3 sets on the left, 2 to 3 sets on the right, with the anchor providing the proper amount of resistance for the farthest and closest cones.